All right. Well, welcome everyone. Welcome to your Lifestyle Bank Thursday afternoon agent development training. We are doing this every Thursday afternoon at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We are going to be having training. That training can be personal development. It could be leadership development. It could be development on particular strategies within the scope of business that we do here at your Lifestyle Bank. It could be a quick start, how to start. It could be training on our CRM or on our YLB GPS. But we will have trainings every Thursday at 1 p.m. Every Thursday at 1 p.m. So make sure you mark it in your calendars. You're going to want to be here for that. These are also being recorded. Just this morning in our development meeting with our software platforms, we finally got the go-ahead to start loading some of our videos into our platform. So here in the course of the next 30 days or so, you're going to have a place where you can go see not only these training videos, but videos from our carriers, video from some of the people that put on our strategies like the Infinite Banking Concept, the Nelson Nash Institute. All of these videos are going to be there for you to be able to grow and learn. So today's topic is filling the funnel. Filling the funnel. Now, this is business. Okay, this is business. We're here for business. We're here to make money. We're here for business. But I am who I am, right? So I have to be true to me. And so I say that because I'm a God-fearing person. I love the Lord. I love Christ. I live for that. It's helped me grow. Okay. Now, my first slide is going to be a slide that's something that's not coming from the Bible. Again, this is not Bible based because we have agents from all types or all backgrounds, right? And we love them all. But this first slide is a slide that when I heard this quote, I said, it's perfect. It's perfect. I love this quote. If you get nothing else out of this training today, other than the quote that I'm about to show you, it will have been worth your while. So without further ado, Mahatma Gandhi said, live as if you were to die tomorrow. Learn as if you were to live forever. In this journey called life, we have to continue to evolve. We have to continue to learn. We have to continue to learn about our profession. We have to continue to learn about a myriad of things. But probably the most important thing we need to continue to learn about is who we are, why we're here, why God put us here, right? So this is a continuously learning process. For us here, when I'm boiling it down now, because from this point forward, it's all about business. You've got to learn and grow as an agent. You have to learn the different strategies. Even if you're going to dedicate yourself to one particular strategy, maybe you want to do ACA, and that's all you want to do. You should learn everything else because you'll never know when you'll have an opportunity. You have to learn to master your craft. You have to learn how to be better at what you're doing. You have to continuously learn. When I was 18, 19 years old, and I was successful in business at a very young age, it was hard to talk to me because I knew everything. Today, I'm 61 years old, and I'm proud to say I'm ignorant. Because being ignorant and recognizing that I'm ignorant allows me to learn on a daily basis. Everyone has something that I can learn from. So, moving on. Let's talk about life in sales. Some of you that are live with us today are already agents, and maybe you've been in sales for a long time. Some of you that are going to be watching this as a video, maybe you're new. Maybe you're new to insurance. Possibly you're even new to sales, right? Possibly you're even new to sales. But here's the thing. Whether you're a seasoned vet or you're new to sales, most salespeople, most agents live life on a roller coaster. You live life on a roller coaster. Man, you're doing great. You get excited. You start doing some stuff. You don't even know what you're doing. It doesn't matter. And all of a sudden, you've gotten a couple of sales and life is great. You're up here right? And you've gotten a few sales coming, money's coming in. Oh my God, this is going to be this way forever. And then all of a sudden it takes a downturn. And you go all the way down to the bottom and you're almost ready to quit. I don't know what I'm going to do. How did I get myself into this? And then you start fighting again. You start climbing that ladder again. And all of a sudden more sales are coming in again. And it's a perpetual life of up and down, up and down, up and down. If that's you in your sales career, wow, that's a tough life. It's a tough life. It weighs on you. It truly does. It's exhausting. It doesn't just weigh on you, but it weighs on the family, right? If you're married, it's going to weigh on the family. Your income, sometimes you feel rich and then all of a sudden you're poor. And then maybe you got so poor that when you were rich again, you're not really rich. You're just filling in the hole you just dug. So it weighs on you. So how can we do things so that our life in sales is not lived on this roller coaster? Well, you need to get started right. And again, I don't care if you're brand new or if today's your day and say, you know what, Carlos, I've been doing this for 15 years and it's been 15 years of this roller coaster ride. Great. So then start today to change it. So I don't care if you're starting now for the first time or you're restarting, start. So let's talk about getting started right. First thing you want to do is you want to set high expectations for yourself. High expectations for yourself. Okay? You know, I'd rather shoot for the moon because if I miss, I'd rather shoot for the stars because if I miss, I might land on the moon. Okay? Set high expectations for you. And I'm not the only one to do that. Sam Walton, I think he had some success in life, right? Sam Walton said, high expectations are the key to everything. High expectations are the key to everything. So let's set that standard. I want you to take a look, okay, and have a 1, a 3, a 5, and a 7-year plan. But how are you going to set that plan? How are you going to set that plan? There's a man, I read a book once, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. And in that, one of those habits is start with the end in mind. So if you're going to have a 7-year plan, sit there and imagine what you want your life to look like 7 years from now. Actually sit there and think about that. I mean, literally take a pad, a paper, and a pen or a pencil. I'm not saying to type it on the computer. Sit there and write it out. Write it out as if it were 7 years from now. It's not 2023. It's the year 2030. It's the year 2030. Okay, what's today? September 7th. It's September 7th, 2030. And I want you to sit there and start. This is like a journal. You're going to start writing in your journal. Wow, I was just thinking about this. I can't believe that it's been 7 years since I heard Carlos talking about, filling the funnel. And in those 7 years, look where I am now. And you start writing what your life looks like. The more detailed, the better. The more detailed, the better. If this were a different setting, I'd quote some Bible verses about writing things down, but we're not there. We're not doing that. I'm tempted, but we're not doing that. Okay? Write it down. Write it down. The more details, the better. If you've moved into the house of your dreams, what does that look like? If you're living in a way that you're providing for your family, what does that look like? What does your income look like? Now start working that backwards. And let's take a look now just at the income. What did that income look like 7 years from now? What does it look like in 5 years, and 3 years, and 1 year? Let me give you some things to kind of shoot for, some high expectations. In your first year, if you're brand new, you want to be functional and profitable. Functional and profitable. What does functional mean? Functional means, you've learned how to do the illustrations. You learn how to plan it out. When someone comes to you with a set of circumstances and you've done the lifestyle assessment, you know how to take that information and turn it into a working plan. You've done it enough times and you're consistent with it and you probably could have done it better, but it's a learning process. However, you're profitable. You're making money. You're making money. So in your first year, that's the plan. In your first year, some people come in, they see that you can make a lot of money. We We have agents in this industry that make over $1 million a year. And it's not just one or two. There's money to be made in this industry if you really want to, if you become a professional in your industry. But guess what? That's not going to happen in the first month. It's not going to happen in the first year, right? So you want to set some things that are reasonable. You want to set them high, but you want to set them reasonable. We're going to talk a little bit more about managing expectations in a moment. From year 1 through year 3, you should be in your 6 figures. And it should be a 6 figures that's growing every year. There's absolutely no reason for you to be in this industry and not seeing 6 figures. If your industry and not seeing 6 figures is because you're either working at very part-time or you have not become serious about your profession. Because this isn't a job, it's a profession. Right? By year 5, you need to be a high-end income earner. I mean, now you really should be, I'm not talking about making millions of dollars, but you should be, although you could be, but you should be there where you've got a nice good 6-figure income that's not just I barely scratched 100,000. Okay, maybe you're $250,000, $300,000, $400,000. You should be there in there. Okay, if you're doing things right, there's no reason for you not to be. Again, I'm telling you, those are the expectations. These are things that you could do should you set your mind to it and should you learn how to do it. By year 7, you can be world class. Now, I'm not going to define that for you. I'll let you define that. And here's the thing. All of these things really boil down to your definition of what you want your financial success to be. All you have to do is start with the end in mind, go back to the beginning, and find out the steps you need to take in order to get there. Let's move on. Okay. We're going to talk about 3 concepts. 3 concepts. The first one is set and then what? Manage your expectations. You need to set and then you need to manage your expectations. Let's talk about managing expectations. I just told you again, or a second ago. In this industry, you can make a lot of money if you choose to. However you define it. However you believe it. Maybe when I tell you that you could do, $250,000, $300,000, $400,000, maybe you're sitting there looking at me like, hey, what's Carlos talking about? Because you can't believe anything above 100. Whatever you can believe that's high, wherever that elevator of expectations or of belief gets you to, whatever floor that's on, okay, that's great, but you have to manage that expectation because you're not probably going to get there that first week, right? You're not going to get to that first week. If you think you're going to come into this industry or you've been here for a while and you've been averaging 70, 80, 90, 100,000, and now I'm talking about a lot more money, and you think that in the first month, the first 2 months, you're going to set yourself on a path where you're going to be there, that's probably not a real expectation. And if you've set expectations that are out of whack, what happens? You get frustrated, don't you? As a matter of fact, frustration is kind of it's an aside, but it fits. It's an interesting word because, they say that all frustration is self-inflicted. All frustration is self-inflicted. And if you look at that, it's true. And where does that self-inflicted frustration come from? It comes from expectations. You expect others to treat you the way that you would treat them. You expect this situation to work out in this particular way. When it doesn't, you get frustrated. Well, the same thing here. If your expectations are out of whack, you're going to get frustrated. So the second part of this getting started right concept is, the second step is you need to start with small victories. And you need to start with small victories fast. Okay? See, what you don't understand is that there's a timer in your head. There's a timer in your head. If you're not seeing small victories, by the way, victories don't necessarily mean that you had a bunch of sales. You can define what your victories are. Victories may be that you went through the training and you got that right. That's a first victory, right? That's the first victory. If you haven't been here and you haven't gotten licensed and you got here and you got all excited about it, and it's now been a month and a half since you were starting to take the courses and you haven't finished the course and you haven't gone to take the test, frustration is now starting to set in. So a victory is a victory. It's not necessarily a sale. It can be depending on where you're at. Okay? But a victory basically means you're doing small things where you see, where you feel that this is moving forward for you. That it's moving forward for you. You've got to set up the small victories. See, if you're not seeing victories in about 60 to 90 days, you're out of here. For some people, it's less. You've got to set yourself up to win. So set yourself up with small victories. So if you're already an agent and you're getting into something new, find some things that you need to do. Look, they were talking about this infinite banking concept. I don't know what it is. Small victory. Learn some more. Watch some videos. Get comfortable with it. Learn to do the illustration on the infinite banking concept. This is an example. We have several different strategies, right? Small victories. And then start piling the small victories one on top of the other, one on top of the other, one on top of the other. Okay? How do you need an elephant? One bite at a time. Small victory on top of small victory on top of small victory. So long as you're moving forward. As I was saying that, I hadn't planned to say this, but as I was saying that, sometimes I tell people that, and this is being recorded, and I've got to watch my language, so let me see how I say this in a way. But if you are in deep mud, let's just put it mud. You're in a lake of mud, to not use another word that we all know what that word is. You're in a lake of mud. So long as you look up and you look at the horizon and you start moving, and you start having, and every little step is a small victory, if you will. So long as you start moving, eventually you're going to get out of it. If all you do is look down at the mud that you're in, and that's where your sight is, you'll just go round and round in a circle and you'll never get out. This is the same thing. You're starting something new. You've decided that today is a day that you're going to get off that financial roller coaster. You're going to do some of the things we're going to talk about in a little bit. Okay? And you are going to make this go forward. Set yourself up with small victories. Start doing the things every day that it's going to take for you to get out. Set your sights on the expectations and do small victories, small steps to get you there. It's about the daily activity. It's about the daily activity. It's not about the end result. More on that later, but it's about the daily activity. Okay. The third thing is you have to understand the concept of getting over the line. See, whether you have thought about it or not, somewhere in your conscience there's a line. There's a line that separates you moving forward and you quitting. There's a threshold. There's a threshold. That threshold, most of the times, is income. If I'm not here, okay, if I can't get there, I'm out. If you're feeling that frustration, you're out. If you're on the right side of the line, it's easy to quit. Frustration has set in. You're banging your head on the door, okay? Quite frankly, not only that, or that's not a door, it's a desk, but whatever, you got it. Some of you may identify with this. You're sitting there, you got gung-ho, you knew you wanted this is great, you love it, you see it, you feel it, but you don't know what to do. Now you're a week or two into this, maybe 3 weeks into this, and you don't have to go into the office, you're working from home, and you get up in the morning, you take a shower. Yes, today's the day that I'm finally going to do something. And you spend the first 3 or 4 hours of the day kind of going in circles, maybe visiting the kitchen, getting, a cup of coffee. Heck, you went to the kitchen and got 5 cups of coffee. And heck, you may not even like coffee. But going to the kitchen and getting that cup of coffee, now you feel you've done something. You haven't done anything. Or you go back and you start doing things, looking at things, doing whatever to get yourself busy, but you're not going anywhere. You haven't moved or taken a step to get you to that line that you have. And if you don't cross over that line, if you don't get there, the further you are away from that line, and time has moved past, the easier it is for you to quit. Not on this profession, not on this industry, because this agency wants you. This industry wants you. The industry nor the agency needs you. You're not quitting on us. You're quitting on yourself. So you want to be able to get yourself over that line, because as soon as you cross that line, as soon as you see that this is possible, as soon as you've now convinced yourself because you've gotten over that line, Carlos, but where's that line? Y'all have to set it for yourselves. I don't know what it is for you. You may not even know what it is for you. You need to really sit down and think about it. But as soon as you've done that, now you're starting to believe. And that belief is the key. Now you're starting to believe that you are on the road to financial independence. You can do this. And the further you are away from that line, guess what? The harder it is to quit. This is important for you, and those of you that want to build an organization, those of you that want to build a team, you have to understand that everything that I'm saying about you goes for the team that you're trying to build. You want to make sure that they're having small victories quickly. You want to make sure that they are crossing their threshold. You want to make sure that they know what this is. Think of that threshold as your why, if you will. Think of that as, okay, this is what I need. This is why I'm doing this. Am I getting close to that line that says, yeah, I'm going to be able to do this? The line of belief. Okay? Let's talk a little bit about marketing and leads. Because at the end of the day, some of you that may have seen the last recruiting presentation that we did. And mind you, these really haven't been well attended because we really haven't started marketing that yet. We've been testing our message and how we're going to do things. I think we're getting close. But I said something interesting. At least one thing that was interesting. I said that in all sales, whether it's insurance sales or anything else that you've sold, there's one key, one main key. There's many keys, but there's one main key to success. It's not about how good you are at presenting. It's not about how good you can close a sale. Those things are important, and we're going to talk about knowing your numbers. Those things are important, but the biggest difference between success and failure happens to come to how many people are you getting in front of. See, you might be the worst agent on earth. You don't know how to present anything. I guarantee you that if you talk to 1 million people, you're going to sell some. All right? On the other hand, on the flip side, you may be the best agent in the world. You may be the best salesman in the world. You may be the most knowledgeable financial guru this earth has ever seen. And if you only talk to one person a month, or one person every 2 or 3 months, you're not going to succeed here. So marketing and leads is important. To that effect, your lifestyle bank is working on a marketing and leads program that's going to be opened up to everyone. We are going to do our part. There's been a lot of years of experience of going through leads, of aggregating leads, of producing leads, and we're going to do all of the above to be able to bring it to you, quality leads, for you to be able to have leads to work with, right? However, it's not just about what we do. As a matter of fact, you know, I'm showing my age with what I'm about to do, but a president once had a very, very famous quote, and I'm going to borrow his quote. I don't know if you guys ever heard of John F. Kennedy, but John F. Kennedy once said, "Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country." Carlos, what does that quote have to do with what you're talking about? Absolutely nothing. I'm going to take his quote and I'm going to butcher it. Okay, but I wanted you to see where I got it from. So I'm taking this quote and I'm butchering it. So this is my quote now. Ask not what your agency can do for you. Ask what you can do for yourself. Because at the end of the day, you have to understand that this is not a job. Even those of you that are agents, You can't treat this as a job. This is your business. This is your profession. And do you know what the hours are to your profession? 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. That's when you are working. Every moment. Every moment. Because your biggest task in all of this, although you have several, you have to always continuously be learning. You have to learn about the industry. You have to learn about your products. You have to learn about your carriers. You have to learn about your strategies. You have to continuously be learning. But your biggest job, the one job that makes the difference between you having outrageous success, world-class success, and barely getting by or quitting, is marketing. Marketing. You have to ABM, always be marketing. And what are you marketing? You're marketing yourself. You're marketing yourself. You know, it's amazing to me how so many people, let me take a look at the time. Okay. It's amazing to me how so many people are agents in this industry, yet they think they belong to the CIA. Yes, indeed. They believe that they are secret agents because no one that they know, or very few people that they know, family, friends, acquaintances, know what they actually do. Somehow, either they feel embarrassed, or maybe they've done so many different things in their lives that it's like, oh no, it's just another thing. Or they don't believe, or for whatever reason, they're secret agents. So what are we going to do? I'm going to suggest to you, again, whether you're brand new, and some of you are looking at this before I say it, this guy's nuts. I've heard him making a list before, but 2 to 500, he's nuts. I'm going to suggest to you that whether you're brand new, just starting out, or whether you've been an agent for 25 years, that you sit down and create a list of 200 to 500 people. Carlos, I don't know 200 people. I probably don't know 100. I may not even know 50. Yes, you do. Open your phone. Tell me how many people you have listed in your phone. Go to your Facebook. Tell me how many people are in your Facebook or your TikTok or wherever. Okay? Go to my Facebook, and I'm never on Facebook. I used to do more. I'd really even look at it. I've got over 3,000 people on there. When I looked at it the other day, it floored me. So I'm going to say, do a fast start list of 200 to 500 people. Start. Don't do it on a computer. Write it. See, there's something about the act of writing, the act of doing this, that triggers your mind. You start out not knowing who to put, you put one person. That person, all of a sudden, then brings a memory to someone else. Yes, you can type it in, but for some reason, the act of writing it actually helps trigger things. Don't know, I'm not a psychiatrist, psychologist, or anybody else. It just happens to be true. So, who are you going to put on this list? How about everyone you know that owns a house? If they own a house, they probably have a mortgage. These are people that we can help. Who are your friends? Your family? Do you know anyone that's a business owner? Do you know anyone that needs life insurance? Health insurance. Everyone needs life insurance. Everyone needs health insurance. Who do you do business with? Do you take your clothes to a dry cleaner? Do you go to a dentist? Does your dentist know you're an agent if you've been an agent for a while? Or do you not say anything except for hello, talking about the Dolphins or whatever, the weather, whatever you're into, or whatever he's into or she's into? The person that cuts your hair or styles your hair, do they know what you do? Do you get your car washed? Do they know what you do? Do the people that come and take care of your lawn, if someone comes to take care of the lawn, do they know what you do? Do you have someone that takes care of your house, cleaning or what have you? Do they know what you do? Where does your money flow to? Do you have kids? Are they in day school or daycare? Are they in a private school? Do the people in that private school know what you do? Where does your money flow? Where does your money flow? Everyone should know what you do. Example, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, whenever we did the last recruiting session, I left there, I was tired. I put my phone on top of my car. Drove off. I was impressed now that I think, looking back, because it was some time down the road, I hear this thunk, and I go, oh my God, what did I hit? I didn't see anything. Oh, I must have run over something that hit the bottom of the car, I thought. And I left. Now, I live a considerable distance away from where we were, so I decided to call my wife to let her know that I was on my way home. My car cannot find the Bluetooth on my phone. I said, I didn't turn the Bluetooth off. What's going on? As I look in the seat, it wasn't there. I get to a red light. I'm looking everywhere. And I go, oh my God, I left the phone on top of the car. So this isn't about the phone. But I went the next day to AT&T. They said, no, you have insurance, but you can't do it through us. You have to call. I called, and they said, don't worry about it, Mr. Bauta. We're sending you someone to the house this evening with a brand new phone. That person came and set up my phone. That individual, Andy is his name, is going to be my client. We've set up a couple of meetings already. Well, we've had one, set up another one. Why? Because Andy found out what I do. How did he find out? I actually told him. And he needed some help. And so now he's going to be a client, most probably. Everyone you do business with, everyone you get in contact with. That's why this is a 24/7 job. I'm going to be in Jamaica, the 19th through the 26th. Other people from this country are going to be in the same resort that we're at. I guarantee you that there are going to be several people there that are going to find out what I do, because it will come up in conversation, because it is always present in my mind, because I am proud of what I do. I believe that I help people. I believe that I have a moral obligation to help people. Therefore, people find out. I'm not pushy. I'm not trying to sell them anything. It just comes up in conversation. Then you're going to always be adding to your list. From what? From new people that you meet, just like I told you that I'm going to be meeting people in Jamaica. From the referrals that your clients are going to be giving you. You're continuously adding to your list. You always need to be marketing. Always. ABM. Always be marketing. You need to be networking. That may have a bad name for some people. Social media. There's one gentleman, I'm going to talk about him in just a moment, that is just amazing on social media. But you should be doing things on social media. Well, Carlos, I don't know how. Well, guess what? I really don't know how either. I'm just starting to do social media. I've done things with groups. I do things with groups. I'm going to show you some examples in a second. But I'm just learning how to do the social media stuff because I've never done that right. It doesn't mean that it's not important. It just means that I need to understand that I'm ignorant, be willing to learn, be willing to fall flat on my face, and learn as I go. My spiritual mentor says this all the time. Listen consistently. Listen consistently. Listen to yourself. Listen to God. Listen consistently. Think briefly. We tend to have paralysis by analysis. Think briefly. Move quickly. Move quickly. Social media. You believe you need to be on there? You need to be looking, possibly doing some lives on YouTube or doing some videos that you're going to be putting up there, maybe doing something, having a presence on LinkedIn, having some posts on Facebook, Instagram, Clubhouse, TikTok, writing some blogs. You believe that? Don't worry about being perfect at it. Get good at it by starting it. Fail your way to success in social media. Start and learn. Look up videos on how to. But start and learn. Groups. Groups are important. Do you go to church? Do you have a social groups? Business groups? Are you part of the Rotarians? Are you part of this? Are you part of the other? Do you work at something where you're working for some charity, some philanthropic organization? In all of these things, especially in these groups, the key here is to be of value to the group. Be of value to the group. And let people know what you do. But don't go in there trying to sell. You're not trying to sell. Key to social media. Be of value to the people that are going to listen, watch your videos, listen to your lives, hear you, because Clubhouse is almost like a group radio. Okay? There's no video there. Right? Be of value. Give important information. Be educational. See, what you want to do in all of this social media and the groups marketing and all of that, you want to come across as what? You want to come across as what? You want to come across as the expert. If you give great information, you become the expert. If you go in someplace to try to sell them, no one likes to be sold. Give value. Don't worry about the sale. Give value. They will see you as the expert that you are or that you're becoming, and they will come to you for more information. Become the expert. So here's this young man. He's one of the managing partners of Your Lifestyle Bank, Mr. Denzel Napoleon Rodriguez. Right? And he's amazing. He's amazing. The guy's got over 50,000. This is outdated by a couple of months. He probably has a lot more than that now. But he has over 50,000 subscribers to his YouTube channel. But you know the amazing thing about Mr. Denzel Napoleon Rodriguez? He did not come out of his mother's womb being a social media guru. He was not born with a YouTube channel. As a matter of fact, when he started his YouTube channel, he really was nowhere near as good as he is today. He had to make mistakes. He had to learn, get some basic knowledge, and take action. And he took action. He wasn't afraid to take action. He took action. And now he's an influencer. You can do the same. You don't have to do the same. You can. Remember, everything I'm telling you here is because you are ultimately in charge of your success. As a company, as an agency, Your Lifestyle Bank is going to be doing something that you can plug into so that you can get leads and he can help. We're going to be training you on different things. We're going to offer a platform where you can go in and train yourself and learn the different things yourself through videos that are there. But at the end of the day, it's not our responsibility for you to learn. It's not our responsibility for you to grow. We want you to grow. We want to help you. We want to be there for you, but we can't do it for you. That's on you. That's on you. So if you like this, start looking into it. It doesn't matter what Your Lifestyle Bank is doing. If Your Lifestyle Bank is offering you things that are going to be good for you, hallelujah. But wouldn't it be great if you could grab that plus do your own? Of course. So it doesn't have to be this. You can do groups. Here's an example. I was part of this group. We were chatting online all the time. We had some meetings over Zoom, and I was communicating with them. Okay. In my communications, they always knew what I did, but my communications weren't just about all the financial products and all the insurance products that we have. Okay. This is some of the things that I was posting. These posts are 3 years old. This group is no longer there. As groups come and go. If you're ever part of a group, you'll see that the groups come and go. But I just want to show you what I was doing. I have a book of poetry. I write poetry. I shared some of my poetry. I shared some of my wisdom. I would share some financial tidbits. I would just share stuff. So here's one. I shared a poem. This one here. Intention. If you wish upon a star and dare to dream, will my dreams and wishes disappear upon a falling star? For what magic conjured up in the twinkling stream could make my dreams come true and wishes travel far? So this is one of my poems. And then today, today we invite guests to see our community and imagine how it could change their lives. The community works because we caught the vision and made a conscious decision to act deliberately and change the lives, blah, 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 blah. Tonight we share the possibilities. Take action. Invite, invite, invite. I did another one. A life of mediocrity can lead to an eternity of regret, etc., 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 etc. At the end, the power to choose lies within you. Invite, invite, invite. So I was telling people to invite. You'll see, I'm going to show you a couple more pages of this stuff. Either to invite to the community when we were trying to get people, hey, look, come join our community, or invite to presentations that I was doing that they knew about. Okay? So then they started saying stuff. So here, Angela Rodriguez, no relation to Denzel. Okay? Sir Carlos, love, love, love this. Such an encouraging yet insightful post. Etc., 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 etc. Okay? Another one from Phyllis. You go, Carlos. Inspire on, baby. See, I became a source of inspiration from them, from a personal standpoint, but also from a financial standpoint. Okay? And so they would say stuff to me. They would come back and say, all types of stuff. Then some of them started communicating directly with me. Okay? Because now it was out of the community, they would connect directly with me. Some of them were offering their things. And I would say, okay, if I haven't heard of it, I'll take a look at it. That doesn't mean I'm going to do it. But once I looked at theirs, they would now have to look at mine. And I would show them. Here's that same quote from Gandhi. I posted this the morning of my presentation. Good morning. Gandhi said, live as if you were to die tomorrow, learn as if you were to live forever. Wow. With prosperity coming our way, we must educate ourselves in financial matters. It's not about how much money you earn. It's about how much money you keep. Remember, it's presentation day. Invite, invite, invite. I did this at 8:24 that morning. A little bit later that morning, I reposted my invitation to the presentation we were doing on being your own banker. And there it was. And this was when? August 8th, 2020. There it is. August 8th, 2020. All right. By the way, that evening, we had well over 100 people in that presentation. From that presentation, I wound up with, I think it was something like 12 or 13 clients doing infinite banking. So what you need to do is you need to continuously fill the funnel. If this is a funnel, you have to fill it with exposures. Carlos, what's an exposure? An exposure to what you do. An exposure to what you do. An exposure can be that you showed them a video. We're going to have presentation videos on the different strategies that you'll be able to share with people. We already have a couple of those. We're going to be building some more. They will be there for you to be able to share. Exposure can be because, you know what? After you did your list of people, you got in touch with Doppel, you got in touch with me, you got in touch with Denzel, you got in touch with one of us, and you scheduled an evening where we were going to do a Zoom presentation for you, for the people on that list, and you're inviting to that presentation. Soon, starting next month, I am going to be doing probably 2 Zoom presentations open to the entire Your Lifestyle Bank agency, all right, to the entire community. And you're going to be able to invite your people there, okay, so that they can get information. That won't be until next month, and we'll be doing 2 a month. As you guys need more and more and more and more and more, maybe now we're doing once a week. Okay, so it's going to be driven by what you need. But all of these will be recorded. All of these will be available. Okay, and there'll be different presentations on different strategies. But here's the thing. It's exposure, 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 exposure. And you need to continuously fill in that funnel. Well, Carlos, how do I fill the funnel? You have to understand that what comes out of the funnel, how you fill it, is your list and talking to people, the referrals, continuously adding to your list, and doing things on social media. Besides that, taking advantage of the leads we're providing. This is how you continuously fill your funnel. For every 5 exposures that you get on average, you can be worse than this, you can be better than this. Okay? These are not my numbers. This is just a good middle of the road average. Yes, my numbers are better. I'm not going to tell you my numbers. For every 5 exposures, okay, that's going to ease. For every 5 people that saw a video, for every 5 people that saw a live event, for every 5 people that were on a Zoom, for every 5 people that did that, you're going to get one person to say, you know what? I want to go ahead and do a strategy session with you. Mind you, if we're talking about ACA and you're building a call center for ACA, that's a different issue. Okay? So this is more for the life stuff and the annuities. All right? So for every 5 exposures, you're going to get one Your Lifestyle Bank strategy session, which is basically our fact finder. Right? For every 1.5 of those fact finders, those strategy sessions, okay, you're going to wind up with one illustration presentation where you were able to get back to them and show them what we can do. For every 3 of those illustration presentations that you do, you're going to come out with one sale. Can you do better than that? Of course you can. Can you do worse than that? Of course you can. Does it matter if you do better or worse? Actually, no. Well, Carlos, what do you mean no? Well, actually, no. What I mean by actually no is actually no. What you really need to do is analytics. And here I'm going to steal something straight from Denzel. I mean, I've heard it before, but he has mastered it so well. He uses it for clients. He uses it when talking about, where they are financially. But since he says it all the time, I'm going to give him credit for it. And in this picture here, I don't see his face, but I see his picture. In his picture, he's smiling because he knows I'm giving him credit. And that is, you need to know your numbers. You need to know your numbers. Here, I was just talking about for every 5 exposures, you get one strategy session, right? Your Lifestyle Bank strategy session. Well, guess what? Okay. Or actually, we changed it from strategy session. I forgot to update this. It should be lifestyle assessment. Lifestyle assessment, not strategy session. Okay. I just remembered that. All right. So read assessment, lifestyle assessment. But maybe you need 10 exposures to get one lifestyle assessment. Okay. But now you know your number. How do you know your number? Because you keep track of everything. Will our CRM help you with that? Well, yeah, if you use the stuff in it. If you just have it as a repository to put some information, then no, it's not going to help you, right? But it will help you. You need to track everything you do. You need to track everything you do. Everything you do. Okay? You need to know your numbers. You need to know your numbers. Okay? Now maybe you can get one lifestyle assessment for every 5 exposures. But you know what? You're not that great when you do the lifestyle assessment and people aren't really feeling that confident with you. So now, instead of getting 1.5 or an illustration, be able to present an illustration for every 1.5 of these, well, maybe it's going to take you 2. Or maybe it's going to take you 3. Who cares? Because see, this stuff here of how many it takes you, guess what's going to happen? You're going to get better at it. You're going to get better at it. At the end of the day, though, you need to know your numbers. Because now you can manage your activity and be able to come out and realistically know how many you're going to sell and how much money you're going to make. You can manage it. You don't have to be on that roller coaster. If you know your numbers and you know the activity that you need to be doing, then you know how to adjust your activity. That's why you need to know your numbers. Look, let me tell you a story that I heard many years ago, 30 years ago, 32 years ago. There's a young man who was a life insurance agent, and he hated making calls. He was making a lot of cold calls. He was getting lists and making calls. And the one thing he hated was that call. That phone felt like it weighed 100,000 pounds. And so he had phone reluctance. He would do anything and everything that he possibly could to get away from having to make those calls. One day a light bulb went off, and he realized the truth in what I'm about to say. It's not about the sales. You are not getting paid to sell insurance. Of course I am. I'm an insurance agent. That's where I make my money, is when I sell something. No, you do not make your money when you sell something. You make your money when you do the activity. See, he took the amount of monies that he wished to make. He took that. He started with the end in mind, and he worked it backwards. He knew his numbers. He knew how many presentations, how many illustration presentations he had to do in order to get a sale. He knew how many fact finders, that we call lifestyle assessments, he had to do in order to be able to get and deliver the illustration, do that illustration presentation. He knew how many phone calls he had to make to be able to get to the point that he was able to have that fact finder. And so what he did is he did simple math. He took and he divided the income he wished to make by all the calls that he had to do, and he wound up with a number. It was $50. So he convinced his mind that every time he picked up the phone, regardless of whether they told him to take a long walk off a short pier, whether they told him they weren't interested, whether they were friendly or they were mean, he convinced himself that every time he picked up the phone, he made $50. So when they were mean to him, he'd hang up that phone and he would say, "Thanks for the 50." And he'd pick up another one. Every time he picked it up and made that call, he made $50. Because on average, he was right. And that's how he got over what is called phone reluctance. Because he knew his numbers. And he understood that you're not getting paid for the results. You're getting paid for the process. You're not getting paid for the results. You're getting paid for the process. If you do the process, the results will take care of themselves. If you get better at your process, you can do less numbers and have the same results, or keep doing the same numbers and have better results. But you manage the process. You don't manage the results. The key to the whole thing is consistency. Consistency. That's the key. Y'all know about the story of the tortoise and the hare, right? Well, that tortoise was sitting there. He was looking at that rabbit, and that rabbit thought he was all that. But that tortoise knew. That tortoise knew. He said, "You're going down," because he knew that rabbit was not consistent. But he was. He was. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is our training for the day. I'm going to open this up to anyone that wants to make a comment or anyone that has a question. Okay, please feel free to unmute yourself or put something in the chat. I think there's something in the chat. What does it say? Well said. Thank you. Thank you, Minor. I appreciate that. Thank you, Daphne. Great training. All right. Excellent. Excellent. Anyways, I'm really big on time. I understand that time is the one commodity that we're not getting any more of. The time that we have is the time that we have. And time is precious. And so whenever you're doing anything that I am consuming your time, whether it's a presentation, whether it's a recruiting session, whether it's a training, my commitment to you is that I'm going to do everything humanly possible to make sure that the time you spent with me was well invested. And I hope that today whether you're here not live or whether you've just watched this as a video, you can say to yourself, I'm glad I spent that hour with Carlos. So if there are no, I would like to be able to view next week's recording and review of Conference Network course. Yep, not a problem. We're going to be able to set this up. Raynor, I think we were just told in the development meeting today that we can start loading videos. So now we just have to go about doing that. So between now and next week, we'll do that. Maybe we can set it up, Doppel, where we sent out a link to a video after each of these sessions. That wouldn't be a bad idea. I think I'd like that. So we'll get it worked out so you can get the link and you can see the video next week. All right. I appreciate that you don't want to miss anything. That's excellent. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, if there aren't any more questions or comments, remember, as you go through life, there are no limits. There are no limits, no doubts, no fears. Live in your spirit. God bless you. Thank you for coming. We'll see you all again next Thursday at 1 p.m.